The sports world is in shock over a maneuver that Michael Jordan and Caitlyn Clark recently executed. Sophie Cunningham was taken aback when they offered her a $27 million Nike contract. You know something extraordinary is occurring when the best basketball player of all time teams up with the most attractive female basketball player to make a difference in someone's life. WNBA veteran Sophie Cunningham, who is renowned for her perseverance and hard work, is summoned to a meeting. She anticipates a standard conversation regarding the plays or team strategy for the upcoming season. Then, however, Michael Jordan enters. That Michael Jordan, indeed. The rookie phenom Caitlyn Clark, who has been upending the sports world, is right behind him. Sophie's expression as they shared the news was incredibly precious. $27 million from Nike. That is more than the majority of WNBA players saw throughout their whole careers. We are discussing wealth across generations. The kind that alters not just your life, but also the future of your family for many years to come. However, there is more to this story than just one guy getting compensated. It's about women's basketball at last receiving the funding and recognition it merits. And Michael Jordan, who established Nike's basketball dynasty, was necessary to make it happen. When it comes to endorsements, WNBA players have been treated unfairly for years. The majority of WNBA players are fortunate to receive a few $1,000s annually in endorsements, whereas NBA players sign contracts worth hundreds of millions. Seeing gifted female athletes put in just as much effort yet receive far less money than their male colleagues has been annoying. Sophie Cunningham is familiar with this issue. She has established herself as a dependable three-point shooter and a player who adds intensity every night since being selected by the Phoenix Mercury in the 2019 NBA Draft. She hit 37.8% from outside the arc and scored 8.2 points per game the previous season. Good numbers for any squad. However, landing a hefty endorsement deal hasn't always followed from being a terrific basketball player. Sophie might have a deal with a lesser sports company and some local sponsorships, but nothing that would make you wealthy. Then Caitlyn Clark came along and made all the difference. Clark did more than simply sign with the WNBA. Declaring that women's basketball was ready for prime time, she kicked down the door. Her game began to attract more viewers than ever before. People who had never watched women's basketball were suddenly paying attention to see what all the excitement was about. Nike realized they had been sleeping on a gold mine when they saw this. Clark was selling out arenas, generating social media buzz that marketing execs could only hope for, and attracting TV numbers that rivaled men's games. Only a few women's basketball players have ever secured a contract with Nike that apparently included plans for her own trademark shoe line. Michael Jordan enters the picture at this point. Not only is MJ a retired athlete hoarding wealth, he remains very much a part of the Jordan brand and Nike. He has been really interested in what is going on in women's basketball. When he saw that women's sports were gaining popularity, the man who transformed athlete endorsements wanted to be a part of it. Jordan and Clark have been talking about ways to better improve women's basketball. They both realized that one celebrity receiving compensation was insufficient. Leveling up was necessary for the entire sport. At that point, Sophie Cunningham's name was mentioned. Sophie and Caitlyn had established a strong bond despite playing on opposite teams. Jordan and Clark therefore presented a proposition to Nike. The new wave of women's basketball endorsements was something they wanted Sophie to be a part of. Not a minor matter, but something that would garner media attention and demonstrate to other companies the value of WNBA players as an investment. It must have been fascinating to negotiate. It is unprecedented for a role player to receive $27 million. However, Jordan's participation was quite significant, and Clark's celebrity gave it more legitimacy. In essence, she was stating, "This is my league. These are my colleagues, and they ought to be compensated." It was said to have been an emotional meeting when they told Sophie. At first, she found it hard to believe. In addition to money, the deal covers marketing initiatives, signature clothing, and chances to expand her brand internationally. We are discussing the possibility of Sophie Cunningham becoming well-known. Nike is sending a message to other businesses with its investment in Sophie. To deserve a large salary, you don't need to be the largest celebrity. Veterans, role players, and the players that keep teams together are all valuable. Numerous other players who have been underappreciated for too long may benefit from this. Consider the significance of $27 million for Sophie Cunningham. The highest WNBA salary is approximately $200,000 annually. Sophie wouldn't earn nearly as much as this Nike deal would even if she continued to play for another 10 years at the maximum salary. This money is for retirement. This will secure your family's financial future for many years. It has been claimed that other brands are taking a new look at WNBA players. Given that Nike is prepared to spend $27 million on Sophie Cunningham, how much would Adidas, Under Armour, or New Balance be prepared to spend on other athletes? Suddenly, the market is open. Having a player with this kind of endorsement contract is very important to the Indiana Fever. It makes the team as a whole more visible. A squad with players receiving significant endorsements may pique the curiosity of free agents. The ramifications on a global scale are also intriguing. Given that Nike is a worldwide brand, this agreement probably offers chances for international marketing. Sophie has the potential to represent women's basketball globally as well as in America. Such publicity has the potential to expand the game's audience internationally and attract new followers in areas where women's basketball is still relatively unknown. The involvement of Michael Jordan gives this tale a further level of complexity. This individual altered the way that players view endorsements. The model for athlete branding was established by his Air Jordan collection. Caitlyn Clark also merits a great deal of recognition. She may have simply concentrated on her own business and finances. Rather, she's thinking more broadly and leveraging her connections to assist other players in receiving compensation. Women's sports need that kind of rising tide, lifts all boats mindset. This agreement has the potential to significantly alter how the WNBA functions in the future. Discussions about salary caps and collective bargaining agreements may be impacted if athletes are able to earn significant endorsement income. The league may have to adjust to a new reality in which player salary heavily relies on endorsements. This is a wise long-term investment for Nike. Women's athletics will only continue to expand. They are establishing themselves as the company that supported women's basketball before it was trendy by jumping in and taking risks. Sophie is now under pressure to produce. She's prepared for it, though, based on her career to date. Nike didn't choose a player at random. They choose a person who personifies the ideals they wish to have associated with their brand. Will similar transactions be seen in the future? Will more retired celebrities invest in women's sports in the same way that Jordan did? Will additional companies decide to take a chance on WNBA players as a result of Sophie's success? Women's basketball will never be the same, that much is certain. People pay notice when Caitlyn Clark and Michael Jordan surprise someone with $27 million. The subject shifts. There, a little girl honing her jump shot suddenly recognized that her dreams are worth far more than anyone had previously taught her. The future has arrived, and it is sporting Nike gear.